Hello, in this tutorial I like to talk about the Lighting BE15. In this tutorial it's more or less default all the values that you have to use. The only thing that is not default is the areas. So first you have to look at what kind of areas and in which areas do you have the same kind of light. So you can divide it into offices, meeting rooms, then also the sports hall, of course, toilet, hallways, and stuff like that. Then you find the areas for these different zones. The zones doesn't need to be the same zones as you have in ventilation. Then we have this one called general, and that's a minimum energy that we can use on the light. And if we know all the light is turned off, then we can put 0. But we wouldn't know, then we need to put 2 here, watt per square meter. That's a minimum that we can put in. Then we have this one called general installed, and that's the maximum energy we use. And here we write 5 for where we have 200 lux, and 200 lux we will have in offices, meeting rooms, in the sports hall, but in changing areas, hallways and toilets we can have 50. So when we have 200 we have 5 watt per square meter, and when we have 50 we have 4. Then we have the daylight factor, and where we have daylight that is good for the room, and we know there's daylight coming in, there we have 2, and if we don't have daylight then we have 0. Then we have this one here called control, and that's how we can control the light. We have 4 different here, and I'll just go to the guideline so you can see that they're also written in here. We have U, that is if it's uncontrolled. That means we don't know if we turn it off when we're leaving the room. And we also have M, that's manual operated. That is if we know that we turn the light on when we enter the room and we turn it off when we leave the room. Then we have automatically, and that means that it's by a sensor. Then when we come into a room, then the light is turned on, and then when we leave it turns off. Then we have K, and K is also automatically, but it's also regulated according to the light outside. So that means it turns up and down the light according to how much light that we have coming from the outside. So this you have to put in here what kind of regulation you have. If you have too much, if you're not meeting your energy frame and you have M here, one way to save energy is to go to K, because in that way you can use less energy on the light. Of course that also costs a lot of money to have K. So you have to talk to the client about that. Then we have FO, and FO again is the usage factor, and that's how much we use the light. If we know that the light is always turned on in the when the building is open, then it's 1. If we know it's only turned on in part of the time, then we say if it's 80%, then it's 0.8. If we have some work lamps, for example, if we have an office and you know there's work lights at the desks, then you have 1 watt per square meter here. Others is if we have exhibition areas where we have light in, then we have to put something in here. You use 0 for that in the assignment. Then if there's something that is on standby, then you put 0.1 there, and then you also need to put that in night if it's on stand in 0.1 there. So this is what you have. You use the default factors here. You can see I also have written them in the guideline, so you have them here as well. And then you can use the same for your project as we have in the assignment here. You can also see I've written in for all the light here. I'd like you now to try to fill it out for this assignment and see how it is. And then see you at the next tutorial.